Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by the Believe Sports Network. My name is Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, alongside my two co-hosts, former Buffalo Bills, John Fina and Jerry Ostrowski. You can find them on X. I said Twitter for me. It's X for both of us, for all three of us, at John Fina and at Ostrowski_Big O, respectively. We are excited that you are here with us for this live broadcast. Please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this vidcast or podcast on. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, tell a friend, leave a comment, rate, review, all that good stuff. Help us get our numbers up. That would be fantastic. The Buffalo Bills, gentlemen, OTAs resume Monday, June 2nd and June 3rd. They've got one more session on June 5th. And I suppose, and I don't know who wants to take this question first, do we expect newlywed Josh Allen to be at OTAs? I mean, let's be honest. When you think honeymoon, 50 degrees in Buffalo in June is obviously the first destination you think of, correct?
I hope not. I hope to God he's on a honeymoon somewhere in like Bora Bora or something like that. I hope he's not back at OTAs. Please let the man enjoy himself.
I entirely disagree. I think with that last
BS
rash of promotions in Buffalo and the administration, I think Hailee's going to be on the staff, clipboard, just like Belichick's girlfriend. She's going to be out there freaking mashing them during 9-on-7, F-bombs everywhere. Go Coach Hailee. I'm in. I'm down.
It's funny because he shows up all the time. Like it
Right.
seems like there's times when reporters and even the staff are like, we probably don't expect to see Josh. Sure enough, Josh Allen's here. It's like Josh Allen is here. So
God, how great is that though? Just loves his teammates, loves the city. I mean,
if I don't see him on like a $35 million yacht in the Mediterranean, I'm going to be so pissed. I'm going to be so pissed if he's in Buffalo tomorrow.
Wait, Jerry, he's borrowing your yacht? You're letting him use your yacht?
I have a 24-foot fishing vessel.
What do you know that we don't know, Jerry? Because he's clearly borrowing your yacht.
Seriously, so, yeah. Man, if he's not like out somewhere like in Bora Bora or anywhere where they have the show Survivor, if he's not anywhere in one of those places, I'm going to be pissed.
It's the couple
all inclusive.
The couples retreat destination when they like with the huts and like they got fish and they got fish in here too, like jacuzzis everywhere.
Please let it's like that old Saturday Night Live skit with Adam Sandler and Chris Farley. For God's sakes, let the boy sleep in your bed. Let the boy go on his honeymoon.
We got a rash of backup quarterbacks that could stand to get some rest. So
exactly.
That is actually there's probably a measure of please go on your honeymoon. Please go on your honeymoon and get out of here so we can see what some of these other guys can do. But with that, OTAs, again, the last session of OTAs, second, third, Monday, Tuesday, and what is that? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I guess the question that I have for you two gentlemen, I know that it looked a lot different, the offseason stuff, as far as when you guys played versus now. I don't know if there were OTAs back then. I think it's a collective bargaining agreement thing, blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of stuff that they sprinkle in now just to keep the guys around, keep tabs on them, make sure they're working out and all that kind of stuff. What's going through these guys' heads as they're kind of approaching the offseason workout stuff?
Well, the veterans what's going through their heads is, why the hell do I have to be here? That's what the veterans are thinking. The rookies are like, oh my gosh, I got to go full speed. I got to make an impression. I've got to show that I'm ready to go and all those things. I mean, OTAs are great. It gives the opportunity for the team to come together and all that. But let's get down to brass tacks. I mean, some of these guys have been doing it a long time. I'm one of the dudes that I'm not stressed out about OTAs and vets. Now, I know McDermott is a dude, like he comes out and it's really important to him that everybody's together and the team's here. And I get it. I want your team to be together, but it's just like with this Joey Bosa injury situation. I don't care if Joey Bosa takes reps in May. I really don't. I don't care if he takes them in early June. All I care about is St. John Fisher and getting ready for a season. So, and I don't know if John has a theory on this, but personally it's, veteran-wise, it becomes a little mundane. Rookies, it's very important.
I agree in part with Jerry. I will say yes, as a guy long in the tooth. you're like, really, I got to be here for this. I can't not go. It's optional, but you want to be a team guy. But there's a divide there. Like if you play for the Cleveland Browns and you're a vet, you're like, oh God, I got to go back for this crap. Are you kidding me? But to the Buffalo Bills of 2024, 2023, 2022, and there is a measure of excitement. Like we are so close. Maybe that rep I take in June will, I'll have an epiphany. So I think in the culture in this locker room and the team could be a little bit different, but yeah, if you live far away, like in Arizona, and you're saddling up to go have Phil Hansen mash up your clavicle, I still got the bone bruise to show it. Like, Phil, slow down. It's May. Relax. I could see where guys are a little like, nah.
Josh Allen clearly, and I get it. Obviously, I'm not an NFL quarterback, but there's things that happen inside of the Bills community that even if it's a situation where there's an event going on or something's happening and like weeks out, I'm like, yeah, not interested in going to that, or I'm not going to go to that. As it approaches, I get FOMO big time. I'm just like, oh, and then if I'm not going and I know that it's happening, like I seriously feel like I'm missing out on something. And I feel like Josh lives in that space, of that FOMO space, as much as he loves being around the guys and loves being around the facility. He obviously has a home here and he loves this area. I think it's the FOMO. What pressure does that, not the FOMO that he has, but the rest of the guys knowing that Josh is going to be there? What's the pressure that puts? Did you guys get that pressure from Jim back in the day where it's like, Jim expects us to be here, we better be here?
I don't think we get that pressure from Jim, but it's just as a professional athlete. I recently, I know this is not football, but recently just finished the four-part series, the documentary on Dale Earnhardt on Prime, which if you're a NASCAR fan is absolutely amazing. And there's a point in there where he has a wreck the week before. He breaks his collarbone. He goes to Indianapolis and runs the car for a while, and then he gets out of the car and a replacement driver goes in. And just the way they filmed him and the way he was with somebody else going in his car, how much that bothered him. Same way with us as players. I mean, you bust your ass to get these positions, and then to watch somebody else playing your position, it's a little unsettling. You don't like it. You don't like that feeling. And I think that's the biggest thing. The motivation of it is, you don't want anybody else. You don't want anybody else getting in there and have an opportunity at your spot. That's your spot. You earned it and you want to keep it. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, I don't think there's a fear of letting Josh down. I think there's more of a magnetism of Josh and the camaraderie that will bring guys there, and to want to be around that environment. To whether you get better or not, it's just kind of good to catch up. Kind of mid-off season. And to Jerry's point, I still battled for my position at least 3 or 4 times during my career in Buffalo, where they try to bring somebody in, and press you and push you a little bit. And there is that feeling like, hey, you know what? Get out of my space. I own this. And then even with like a minor injury, if you're out for a series or a half or a full game, you just sit in that meeting room, like starting to twitch, like, oh my God, this don't feel right. Like, get out of my spot. So I don't see that many of our starters are in that position as I scan the depth chart over here on my monitor, but by and large, it's good to be with the guys. I mean, you're with them for what, 14, 20, 25 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you're just apart and you're like, oh, you kind of miss that camaraderie.
It's interesting that you kind of let us behind the veil a little bit on that, because when I read, when the Bills have done it, and I can't think of who it was recently, right? They bring in extra guys around in certain positions that we feel like that there's a starter there, and maybe the starter's getting a little older or falling off or didn't have the best season the year before, and it's like, oh, it's just good to have competition. I always kind of just brushed it off as like, I don't think the vet gives a crap, but it seems very much not the case for you.
Ralph Wilson says, can you buy a Wally Pipp jersey? That's probably the greatest. That's the greatest example of giving up your spot to someone else, and then they play 3,000 in some games in a row. Wally Pipp obviously being of the Yankees, wanted a day off, let Lou Gehrig play, and Lou Gehrig then played 3,000 some straight games, and Wally got traded, I think, to Boston. So,
what do you think, Jerry? Did Wally Pipp have a hangnail or a hangover?
No, hangover. I mean, it's well documented. He just basically went in and told the manager he wanted off. He needed off that day. And,
I need a veteran's rest day.
Yes,
here comes Big Lou.
grave mistake for Mr. Pipp.
Interesting, but getting back to John, just that question. I mean, it was that serious for you as well.
For Jerry?
No, I said John. I talked about you letting us seeing behind the veil that like it was a problem for you, knowing that they were not bringing in guys, but it basically leveled up the competition. It did exactly what they say that they're trying to do, even though I have always felt that I wasn't a believer in it. Like I wasn't a believer in that they bring in other guys to the wide receiver room and like the wide receivers are going to like up their game.
I don't think you necessarily up your game conscientiously, but you're a full detail oriented. You might change some of your behaviors, but I think, it's one of two things. You're either coming up on a contract or you're getting older, right? That's when they really want to push somebody. But yeah, you feel it. But again, everybody in the comments, everybody who listens to downloading this podcast, I don't care what you do for a living, right? If you don't think there's somebody behind you nipping at your heels, wanting to take your job, then they probably already did.
Right.
Well, they never brought anybody in to take John's job. I mean, hell, they brought somebody in every Tuesday to take mine. But, John was like, they never brought anybody to take John's job. I mean,
what do you
John's job. He's John Fina.
Come on.
He's John Fina.
You remember this expression, hey, Mo. Come on.
Hey, Mo Elwanibi was brought in to play center. Don't you remember that?
Why was he taking all those reps at left tackle?
I have no idea.
Standing next to Tom Bresnahan, talking smack.
Yeah, I mean, you go out on a Tuesday to get a little dry run to get the soreness out, and there's 5 guards over in the corner of the freaking indoor that are doing workouts. I mean, if that wasn't a direct signal, I don't know what was.
Jerry standing over there going, "Somebody love me."
Yes, somebody exactly. I just want somebody to tell me they love me other than my wife. I mean,
Jerry, I love you. You're a warrior.
I knew you would, John. I knew you would.
As we talk about, just to wrap up kind of the OTA conversation here real quick, you look at the position battles and obviously there's information coming out from the beat reporters last week. Elijah Moore looked good, like just different players and stuff like that. How much do you buy into what you've seen, read, or heard, if you've seen, read, or heard stuff as far as, and I know, Jerry, you're very versed in what's going on just with all the extra work that you're getting right now, just kind of in the space. What are you buying from what you read that it's like, no, this is legit. The Elijah Moore thing is big. The film that I watched on Elijah Moore looked great. And what of it is more fluff? Like, is there anything out there, Jerry, for you that's like, watch this battle. This battle's going to be big.
I don't think there's a lot of fluff. I do think that one of the things interesting to me anyway is that the Bills anyway have really done a bang-up job of trying to explain to Bills Mafia and the fan base about Dalton Kincaid's situation last season. And not only did he have the PCL injury, then he also had the other weird lesion that he had, and all the stuff that he was working through, and how much further along he is now than he was last season. Not a ton of fluff. I think that it's encouraging. There's a lot of encouraging things. I mean, I think Cole Bishop report is very encouraging that he seems to be understanding the playbook now and is making plays instinctually instead of trying to sit back and think about what he should do. And that's always good. Obviously, Elijah Moore, I'll see the Elijah Moore thing. I'll believe it more when I see it in the regular season. We've had some of this stuff with Claypool last year.
Oh, Jerry's got him making the roster, Joe.
Where like Claypool was, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever, the most wonderful resurrection project in the history of the NFL. And then he gets hurt and all the other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. Obviously, the main thing that most people want to talk about is James Cook. Whether he will be at training camp or not, I would say that John Fina type word, it would behoove him if he was at camp, because obviously the Buffalo Bills hold all the negotiation advantages, all the pieces to this thing. So whether he's in Buffalo next year or moves on, he's got to have a good season. So we'll see how that goes. But no, I mean, OTAs are great. It gives everybody something to talk about. Very limited media availability. They only have so many opportunities to go. I can't remember what day this week coming up is their day to go to camp practice. But yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff going on.
To use another John Fina word, dovetailing off of the James Cook conversation. It's interesting because I feel like they're going to let him play his last year. Obviously, I don't see a world where they trade him necessarily. It's bizarre to me where this is going, that he's not here, but I'm not nervous. I just watched a 40-minute thing. It's Sunday. It was obvious that Sheffield was going to win the Memorial today, and so I was like, and I googled some Josh Allen, like the Josh Allen 2024 highlight video. It's like 40 minutes long. And the amount that Ray Davis flashed, and the amount that, all the other running backs flashed, it was just, it didn't put me in a situation where I was like, man, we really need James Cook. I feel like he's going to come in and play well.
Well,
go ahead.
What I will say is this. James Cook is a hell of a football player.
He is.
We want him on this football team.
Yeah.
So while there's a pecking order, and I think the pecking order of contracts coming up this year would be, you've got Connor McGovern that's coming up, you got Osiris Torrance coming up, you've got James Cook coming up. So where does that all fall into place? Who decides to be the good soldier and take less money to stay so that others can get done? I don't know what'll happen, but I'm not part of the camp that's like, oh yeah, I mean, we got Davis, we got Johnson, we're great. Heck, I want James Cook a part of this football team. He's a damn good back.
He is.
But there comes a point in time where when you're trying to manage all these contracts, what takes precedent over the others? And I'm not sure that a $15 million James Cook contract is the best thing for the Buffalo Bills when you've got two absolute dogs and McGovern and Torrance sitting there ready to get contracts, and me anyway. And I would imagine that John feels the same way I do, and he can answer on his own here in a second. But I told you a million times, I'm a front guy. I'm a front five guy, front seven dude. I want my offensive line strong. James Cook does what he does because we got those pieces in front of him.
Right. We
got to make sure they're here, and then hopefully we can make James Cook fit. But don't think for 1 minute I don't want him a part of this football team.
Right.
James Cook will be at camp because he holds no cards.
Right.
2, he's going to be a great football player this season. And D, just because we don't want to pay. Thank you. I'm glad you guys got that Home Alone reference. Listen, just because we don't want to pay him $15 million a year doesn't mean that anybody else does. I mean, I don't know that that's the market. I don't know that he is the guy to set that market, especially if you look and you say, well, that's a hell of a quarterback. That's a hell of an offensive line. I think, you could plug and play with anybody. Why am I going to go spend $15 million on a guy who's working with an MVP and 5 absolute studs on the O-line? That don't make sense, right? I could just keep this stable of guys, develop that guy. So that really doesn't concern me that much. Going back to what you were saying before, how much is fluff, how much is real? Probably not a lot of it is real, but it's awesome to see a guy like Elijah Moore, who's on my short list to make this roster, come out and really just say out loud how happy he is to be there. And then number 2, display it on the field.
Yeah.
I think that in the offseason, we get so much crap, so much negative crap. Isn't it great to just have a guy just stand up and say, holy crap, I feel like I'm home, and then go out on the field, boom, boom, looks like a hell of a player. And then to Joe, what you were saying earlier, all these guys, they're world-class athletes, even the biggest and fattest among us, and 2 of us are on the screen right now. I had somebody say to me when I was,
what? Why are you calling me and Jerry fat? What are you doing?
Jerry, I thought he's talking about you and John.
I had someone say to me in about the middle of the career, like people meet you and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting Jerry Ostrowski, right? And this person met me and they're like, I can't believe I'm meeting a world-class athlete. And I kind of was like, Really? Like if you see, like if I took my shirt off, I don't look like world class anything except beer Olympics. But it's true, by and large, everybody, as I look at the step chart, we got 9 guys in the wide receiver room who have a legitimate shot of making this team.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you look at the Elijah Moore story. I loved the interview when he talked about just like, the pass that came in from Josh Allen and it hit me in the chest and I just smiled. And it's because in his mind, it's like, that's the real thing right there.
But I mean, that dude's been eating boxed macaroni and cheese forever. Now he's getting the real deal.
Off brand, Gary. Off brand.
I mean,
gluten-free off brand. Gluten-free off brand.
I mean, hell. I mean, that dude's getting like the 5 cheese macaroni, man. He ain't getting just the box anymore. He's got the 5 cheese.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's some smoked Gouda in that mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Ryan Tongan Joe, with the super chat. Joe isn't fat. He wears skinny jeans. It's true. I wear skinny jeans.
You know what, Ryan? That fool does wear skinny jeans, and it's embarrassing.
All right. Hey, Jerry, check this out.
I'm a musician and a creative.
I mean, I still got pleats in my pants, and John's wearing skinny jeans, man.
You know what I'm getting now, Jerry? I'm getting hand-me-ups, Roman's clothes. He's going to Duke this week. I'm getting his old clothes.
That's so gross.
John wears straight leg jeans. Gross. John wears straight leg jeans.
If you're wearing your kids' jeans, come on, bro. I mean,
Ryan,
seriously.
It's like
what have we become? What have we become?
Frugal.
So sad. Ryan, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you, dog.
Yes, and how does Ryan? Have you met me? How do you know I wear skinny jeans? Like, what is that like?
Because you're a church guy that is in a church band. You got Jordans and skinny jeans.
Jerry and I are texting with RT right now. Go after Joe's skinny jeans.
Dudes in worship bands all wear the same thing.
I do not have a single pair of Jordans,
and they got freaking the $350 sneakers.
I don't have a single pair of Jordans. I don't have a single pair of Jordans. You can ask my wife when we go to dinner next week.
They call it Jordans for Jesus, man. You know how it is.
That is true.
Jordans for Jesus.
I wear jean boots, so I wear boots basically when
you peg your jeans too, don't you?
I definitely have never, even in the 80s and 90s, I did not peg my jeans.
God.
Never pegged them.
John, we need to start talking about doing this ourselves.
But
I don't know if I could do this with this fool anymore.
The fact that you said that tells me that you and John absolutely pegged your jeans. And
He's got pegged jeans with freaking boots.
All I know is there are no photographs of me in high school.
Getting back to,
I'm never going to say that I pegged my jeans and put nickels in my penny loafers. I will never.
But you did. But you did.
I will never say that.
But you won't say it. But you did.
Please.
Hysterical.
Dude,
this is hysterical. The one not fluff, the kind of like and I've got a couple of news points I want to hit too, that brings us kind of full circle in this conversation that I loved was Tre'Davious White and the reports of him being back. And when you look at Tre'Davious White finding his way back into this system, finding his way back onto this team, which is where he wants to be. He didn't want to leave. And obviously business is business. We all know that. His feelings weren't hurt when the Bills moved on from him. But this is where he feels, and we've seen this before where guys, Jordan Phillips, guys just feel like this is home and I can succeed on this team, in this town, with this staff for some reason. They go someplace else. The other one was who was the defensive end that went to the Jets and they got bounced to the Dolphins and came back again? Lawson, right? Shaq Lawson, same thing. I feel like Tre'Davious White is that guy that's going to do everything he can to keep Max Hairston off the field.
Well, if everything he can is an indication, it's already going badly because while he's getting the first team reps, he had a very poor week. And there was some media, the only thing we're getting out of this OTA session is the few media shots that we do get on Twitter or whatever, and you're scouring Twitter all day long to find the latest. Yep. He did struggle a little bit as the day went on, and I get it. And I props to McDermott. It's a respect thing. It's Trey White deserves that respect. He deserves to go out and roll with the ones. Hairston needs to earn it. I mean, it's all the stereotypical stuff that you see in camps across the country. But for me, it's a great feel-good story. But for us to be where we want to be, I need Hairston over there backpedaling. I'm not worried about Trey White.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll say this too. That's a soft practice field. Remember that thing? It's always slushy, for an older guy trying to get out of his breaks. I don't know. I give him a little bit of a pass. Let him get game ready. Let him continue to recover. Yeah, but Jerry's right. The way Hairston seems to be going, he's our number one, and I don't think Trey's going to have a problem with that, being the guy, behind the guy and getting his reps when he can deliver and being the right guy in the meeting room. That stuff means a lot.
And we talked about it a little bit. I mean, it's the one thing about the Bills schedule that I love. I mean, the first 6 weeks are, other than the Ravens game, it's the first 6 weeks are the lesser part of our schedule. You got the first 6 weeks in, you get through the Ravens game, whatever happens. You got a ton of rookies on defense that are going to have to play and get experience.
Mm-hmm.
What better way to get them going than the first 6 that aren't as stressful? Then you get to week 7, which is the off week. You get the 2 PED dudes back for week 8, and then hopefully they've been just taking creatine and glutamine and stuff, and haven't been getting too crazy on the peptides. But we get everybody back with a rookie group that's played 6 games under their belt. I'd have to think that Jackson's going to get a bunch of reps early, and you roll into week 7 and week 8, which is Kansas City. That's when it heats up. So, and this kind of goes in line with this Bosa situation and his injury. I really look at that Bills schedule as week 8, being that ramp up period. So we'll see how it goes.
Very good. All right, let me hit you guys with some news that's kind of just floating around the interwebs, which you can absolutely find on our website, overreactionbuffalo.com, on the Bills in the Wire page. Mike Florio, of all people, talk about the thing that will not happen. I don't think. I mean, shocked beyond shocked if it happened. Mike Florio is suggesting that the Buffalo Bills should absolutely be one of the suitors for Tyreek Hill, for making a trade and signing Tyreek Hill, if they're quote unquote serious about making and winning a Super Bowl. John?
No, I don't think so. I think you add distraction. He does have a pretty exciting skill set, but I think the balance across that room, Khalil Shakir, I think we have quality tight ends. Keon Coleman's going to come on this year, Elijah Moore, Josh Palmer. For me, it doesn't make the grade. And I don't think the money, it's not a good money play, I don't think, for the Bills.
No, I think it's not a good money play at all. Now, I wouldn't mind having Tyreek, honestly. I mean, when you're winning, he's usually in a good state of mind. So I'm okay with that. And nothing would make me more excited than seeing him catching deep crossing patterns across the field. So
in Kansas City in particular.
Yeah, I don't need him in Kansas City. Let's.
No, he means against Kansas.
No, I mean against
Kansas City. Yes. Yeah. But no, I don't think it happens. Your roster room, your wide receiver room, is what you're going to get. I don't think you're going to see much.
I agree.
And Charles brings it up perfectly in the comment section. Clearly, Florio rather hasn't seen the video of Tyreek trashing Buffalo. He went all in on F them Bills, basically, both when he was with the Chiefs and we always beat them, and then it's also F them Bills with the Dolphins, but we just can't beat them, which is an interesting conversation as far as that goes. It kind of level sets and kind of puts you in the mind of where teams feel how much they respect this Buffalo Bills team, right? When it's like that's the team.
Oh my God, I got the epic comeback.
Oh, here we go.
Big Baller Bean sends him an offer. 4 years, $8 million. Come on board.
Well, he's got a contract already, so he can't do that. It would be a trade, and the Bills would have to eat that contract. But
I agree. I agree with this comment from Connor. I mean, yeah, he is a Hall of Fame level player. It'd be awesome to have somebody like that on your roster, but I just don't see him either in a Bills uniform.
No,
yeah, I think what we're going to get, what we have, as you said, Jerry. And to be honest with you, I'm quite comfortable with Josh Palmer and Elijah Moore. I don't know when the moves were made, I was kind of meh, but as the expectation that I have in seeing the situations from which they came and what I feel like they're going to try to do with these two guys, along with Kincaid being healthy, obviously Dawson Knox here, Khalil Shakir is a number one. I know you hate this phrase, a number one wide receiver in this league, and Keon Coleman should be progressing. I feel like they're going to have what it takes, Jerry.
Well, I think that the thing about Elijah Moore that is probably more, I don't want to say exciting to me, but maybe more of I have better thoughts about than say Josh Palmer. I think Josh Palmer is going to be great. you have to understand our quarterback is not a on schedule type guy.
No.
He's not a take it back, read, throw, short window, all that stuff. He extends plays and does things like that. So Elijah Moore's ability to keep the route in play longer and his ability to ad lib is what excites me. And, if you look at last year, I mean, Kincaid, as an example, Kincaid got a bunch of heat from Bills Mafia for having a subpar sophomore season. While injury had a lot to do with that, if you look at statistics, and Joe Marino got into this quite a bit, into the weeds, because he does a weekly Josh Allen breakdown, his accuracy throwing to Kincaid in open situations was not very good at all. So, it takes two people. It's not just Dalton Kincaid or these receivers. The quarterback has to do his part as well. And, to have that guy that's, on time and all those things, a lot of times in this offense, it doesn't work because Josh is so, off schedule.
Yeah, for sure. Two more real quick news, and then I'll get us out of here for this show. Rasul Douglas, it appears, is going to be signing potentially, per the Sporting News, with the Raiders. And I only bring that up. Obviously, our defensive backfield from a corner standpoint is somewhat full. The number is what? I think they speculated 3 years, $30-something million, $11 million a year, 11 point something million a year. And the reason that I bring that up is because the Sporting News is also citing a website, NFL Trade Rumors, that the Bills may cut ties with Damar Hamlin and bring in free agent safety Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons played for the Falcons last year. As you know, he was the incredible
Broncos before that.
Broncos, incredible safety for the Broncos. Knows Pat Mahomes well. Was kind of like a poison pill for Pat Mahomes at times. He made $7.5 million last year with the Falcons. Both of them are 31 years young. The Bills currently have Rapp, Bishop, and Hamlin, and some other guys on this roster as far as that goes. 7.5 versus 11, right? Justin Simmons 7.5, maybe less, versus 11 for Rasul Douglas. I feel like you're getting a bargain. Whichever one of you want to take this conversation about the idea of moving away from Damar for Justin Simmons, please.
I mean, look, I was proven wrong last year when I said I didn't think Damar Hamlin would make the team.
Right.
So if anybody had any doubts then, like I did, and if those doubts still linger, then that is probably a pretty good play. I didn't pay much attention to OTAs. There's not a lot to look at. Obviously all the focus was on the wide receiver room and the cornerbacks, right? So for me, that would not be a shock. And I think I would be okay with that, but I got to wait, right? I mean, I can't say, oh, let's go do this thing. I don't know when that timeline is, but it's certainly, I don't want to say it, but I feel like it could be an upgrade.
No, I think that Simmons is a hell of a player. And if you remember, we talked about him a lot last offseason as a possibility of coming to Buffalo. Problem is his price tag. He's not cheap. And let's not forget about Jordan Hancock from Ohio State, a guy that was picked this year by the Bills, who was brought in as he was a corner, but we all know that he's going to probably be that guy that battles with Cam Lewis for that kind of hybrid role as far as a nickel safety or a nickel corner and a safety. So you have him as well. I think the Bills have to probably evaluate and say, hey, does bringing in Simmons really make our roster that much better and we spend that much money? And that's the other thing. And Ralph makes a great point. Are you sitting Bishop then? Simmons isn't coming in to sit on the bench. So if he comes in, does he take Rapp's spot? Does he take Bishop's spot? All reports out of OTAs are that Bishop, the light switch is going on. And he's figuring things out and playing instinctually as opposed to reactively, like we talked about earlier. So I find it hard to think that you would bring a Simmons in and disrupt that young player development that you have in Bishop. And then also, like I say, Jordan Hancock and others that can play as well. So I do believe it'll be hard for Damar Hamlin to make this roster, but I do think we have answers on the roster already as opposed to going out and getting a one-year hired gun like Simmons.
I think the question is for me, Jerry, as you have studied this extensively and you've got a lot of thoughts on this. When it comes to Cole Bishop, the Buffalo Bills, and not that things can't change and schemes don't change, because we see that they do even for the Buffalo Bills. But the Bills with Hyde and Poyer liked the ability to transition between the two players. One wasn't a strong safety and a free safety. They could both play those positions that allowed them to disguise, where Cole Bishop is very much seen more of as a strong safety. And I think Justin Simmons is seen more as a free safety, which probably Taylor Rapp is as well. Do you see that playing into this, or do you see the Bills probably transitioning to more of an old school free safety, strong safety type setup?
I don't know. I mean, I think both him and Rapp, when I say him, I mean Bishop, I think both of them can play down in the B gap if they have to. I think they can make plays inside. I think Bishop is a tremendous athlete. I've got a lot of respect for Bishop. And I think that last year with the injuries and OTAs, got him behind the books or behind, the 8 ball as far as learning the playbook and those kind of things.
Right.
But I think he's much further along. I do like this new strength coach. I think he's good. I think he brings a new viewpoint. He brings a lot of modern science to training and those types of things. And I know right away everybody's going to probably put in the comments, well, what about Joey Bosa? Well, Joey Bosa's fallen right in line with what we've seen from Joey Bosa the last 3 to 4 years.
Exactly.
I mean, this is an older dude. I know he's not quite 30 yet. He will be 30. He's had a ton of soft tissue injuries. I don't know if the best strength coach in the world can keep him from having situations like that. So I'm not stressed about that, but I do like what he's doing. I think he's a definite positive advantage for that weight room and bringing this new guy in. But no, I like Cole a lot. I think Cole will do really good things. He's exactly what the Bills want as far as the safety goes.
Gotcha. Any thoughts on that, John?
Yeah. I think it's Rapp, not Bishop, that becomes the casualty for the kid from the Falcons. Sorry, I got frog in my throat. So I was going the other direction with that, but it does bring up a point. If you have all three of them, then it doesn't make sense dollar wise, right? Cost just because it makes it prohibitive. Look, guys get hurt, right? And I mean, where do you have the depth? Where do you have the depth and experience? And that's going to be the balance, right? If they look across the board, Taylor Rapp had some injuries last year and the year before. DeMar Hamlin, same thing. Cole Bishop, right? So you just you got to figure out where you think you want to have the deepest experience in the event of an injury, because injuries always happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's something to consider. Like Jerry said, money wise and in the rotation of that room, take up more of the air than is he a great player, right?
I think that, and I look at that. I love Rapp. I think I love old school safeties.
I do too.
I really do. Now, the biggest thing with Rapp is, can you keep him on the field? He's had some injury. He's had some injury issues. He's one of those dudes that's kind of self-inflicted harm. The way he plays is kind of reckless abandon, has a lot of those types of injuries just from his own doing. But no, I love old school safeties. I like Rapp. Hopefully we can keep him healthy and on the field.
Yeah. Again, just rumors, but stuff that's on the wire, stuff that's out there, stuff that we need to be probably somewhat, slightly, at least very much paying attention to. And it's good conversation for shows in the off season, right? So with that, before I get us out of here, gentlemen, any final thoughts or words about just OTAs, what we've talked about? Anything, John?
Man, we always come into these shows thinking we got nothing to talk about. And then the next thing you know, we're on skinny jeans and it all comes unraveled. Then we bring it back together. Now we're here. I had a great time, guys.
If
show in Bill's Mafia right here.
If I don't get a picture this week of Hailee and Josh drinking champagne with raspberries in the champagne on the French Riviera on a $40 million yacht, I am going to be pissed. If I find out he's in Orchard Park, I might go up and protest.
Wait, isn't it Monaco week, Jerry? Is this Grand Prix?
No, Monaco week is always Memorial Day weekend. So you got 1,600 miles of auto racing on Memorial Day on Sunday. You got Monaco, you got Indy, and you got the Coke 600. But no, seriously, man, go enjoy yourself, dude. You're blessed. You're blessed.
I guess
just
go have fun.
Come back to Buffalo. Go to OTAs. You got the rest of your life to honeymoon. Drag your ass back here,
and if I hear a press conference where McDermott makes a snide comment about it, I'm going to be.
I'm very concerned about Josh Allen not being here.
I'm very concerned about Josh not being here. Really? I'm concerned about you bringing up the fact that Josh isn't here, because you should be sending him money to extend his freaking honeymoon
It hasn't even happened yet, and Jerry's already going down the rabbit hole.
I think the question that we all want to ask ourselves is if we were worth $300 million and lived in Buffalo, New York, pretty much. And I know he's got houses in California, and your wife, your new spouse, is worth, I think, over $100 million. Where would you go? Like Mars.
You know where, Joe? You know where you would go? You know where you would go? Wherever the hell you want to go. That's where you would go. Anywhere. You go wherever the hell you'd want to go. You go to the snow-capped mountains of Tucson, Arizona.
Exactly.
Oh, my last comment was thank you. I begged and begged and begged, and Bill's Mafia, you sent me some of that luscious, delicious rain. Rain in the desert, June 1st. Can't believe it.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with the rain in Buffalo. We're over it.
Take some more.
Completely 1,000% over it, ladies and gentlemen.
Playing golf in a knit hat was beautiful.
In the day before June 1st,
yes,
it was ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Show on the Overreaction Sports Network, powered by the Believe Sports Network. We're so appreciative that you have joined us. Thank you so much again. Like, subscribe on your way out. Do us a favor, tell a friend, and we're going to be ramping up as the season gets closer. Got some cool things coming for you, but for me, for John, for Jerry, for all of us here at Overreaction, we love you guys. Appreciate you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Much love. Go Bills.
Go Bills.